Welcome to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. I'm Avery Hennings alongside Max Sturm here today as we bring you Husson Eagles field hockey taking on the Russell College Sages here today, or Alligators that is, here today as this this season will kick off, Max, between these two teams.
Yeah, Avery, first of all, it's a pleasure to be back in the booth. I'm excited to get started again with multiple sports, but we'll start here today with field hockey. It's first game of the season for both of these teams. The visiting Gators are coming off of a 6-10 season last year. The Husson Eagles, on the other hand, are coming off of a NAC championship win and I believe a 9-6 record, 9-4 record, somewhere in that ballpark. This is the first ever matchup for these two teams, and Avery, a win early today could set the tone for the rest of the season for either team.
Yeah, this is an Eagles team that's been consistently one of the better in the state of Maine, that is. So I think definitely some strong players out there for the Eagles. We'll see how they match up to start off this season. Obviously, it's always interesting to start off the year. You kind of have a new team almost every season with the seniors graduating and just kind of having to refigure out what your strategy is out there and what players are going to step up and fill in those holes that you might have lost from a season ago.
And there's some players, some new players for the Eagles that are stepping in, a few different freshmen. And for the Sages, or for the Alligators rather, we have a few graduate students, Alyssa Fitzgerald being one of them. She was a first-team All-E8 last season, and we're about to get underway, it looks like.
And we're going to hand this one over to public address announcer Joseph Swanson for the national anthem and starting lineups.
The NCAA, Husson University, would like to promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators in today's contest. Request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated under grounds of the Waking Complex. Not as bad, but... Starting lineup for today's contest. First for the visiting Gators. In goal, junior number 00, J.R. Karen. Junior midfield number 2, Taylor Hasloff. Freshman midfield number 3, Carrie Gage. Sophomore forward number 4, McKenna Eustis. Sophomore midfielder number 7, Cheyenne Sobel. Sophomore forward number 9, Madison Bullock. Graduate student midfielder number 11, Alexa Wentz. Senior defender number 12, Anna Church. Senior defender number 13, Megan Daniels. Freshman forward number 14, Maya Alpers. Senior defender number 23, Shauna Lanu. Sages under the direction of head coach Carissa Warren. And now, let's go to starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. In goal, a sophomore from Lisbon, Maine, number 00, Maria Lebec. A sophomore from Lisbon, Maine, number 2, Leah Bouchard. A sophomore from Clayton, Maine, number 4, Hope Bouchard. A junior from Winthrop, Maine, number 8, Maddie Perkins. A junior from Old Town, Maine, number 10, Maddie Arsenal. A junior from Pittsfield, Maine, number 16, Ella Louder. A sophomore sophomore from Saco, Maine, number 18, Faith Tillotson. A senior from Winslow, Maine, number 22, Carly Ramsdell. A junior from Orono, Maine, number 23, Lauren Brown. And a senior from Winthrop, Maine, number 27, Abby Ross. The Eagles are coached by Caitlin Doloff, and she's assisted by Brittany Foster. Fans, at this time, we ask you please rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome back here to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. We are just about ready to get underway here, as that was the national anthem and starting lineups. The Eagles team coming out with pretty senior group out there. A lot of sophomores, juniors, and seniors for Husson, while the Alligators, kind of a mixed bag. I think you have a representation from each class for them this season. Couple freshmen, couple seniors. So pretty even matchup potentially between these two squads.
And I think that boils down to the Eagles kind of know what they have in their players. Of course, they came off of the NAC championship win last year. They have their core group of players who have been starting for a few years or maybe took on a starting role last year and proved that they belong out on the field early. So we will see a similar lineup for the Eagles to what we've seen the last few years. But like you said, the Alligators are kind of a mixed bag. They've got some freshmen coming in that will be starting, one of those being Maya Albers, for example. But we also have seniors and a few graduate students for the Alligators who will take the field early on, but look for them to kind of mix it up with substitutions throughout the game.
And it'll be sophomore Maria Levesque in goal for the Eagles. Went 2-0 last season in over 5 games. Obviously, the Eagles graduating Kimmy Goddard, who is one of the kind of all-time greats for Husson field hockey. So we'll see Levesque in goal this season, as the opening tip-off here will go to the Gators. And it's going to get taken away quickly by the Eagles, but a quick whistle there will go back to the Gators here. They're going to try to move this one up the field, and it's going to get taken back by the Alligators. And now, after moving up the right sideline, kind of a fumble for it down there, as Wentz is going to give it over to the Eagles. We're going to have fun with these numbers here today, Max.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not a huge fan of the black on, or the dark green on the black jerseys.
We'll do our best to keep you informed on who has possession, as it's been switching pretty early on in this game. A few whistles already called, and here's another one coming up.
That one knocked a little too far ahead. So it'll be Wentz on the ball again. It's been all played down this right side so far. And this one's going to get bumped around in the middle. We'll see what this Eagles attack can do here as getting some of their first chances. I believe that was Capelizzi who was on that one. Or Capizoli, that is. And now the Eagles getting the ball right back, trying to bring it into the attacking zone here. Ball into the middle, just a little too far, though, as that was the best chance of the game for either team, Max.
A great chance to score there, able to get into the shooting zone pretty easily. It was a centering pass that just was a little bit too quick for the shooter right there. And possession might be going back to the Eagles, and it does.
Good pinch there from the Eagles. This one knocked towards the middle. Chance again. And it's going to go back in possession here of the Gators.
A strong early attack here from the Eagles once they were able to get the ball to the other side of the field a little bit more open than just playing along that sideline. They were able to get something going, and they're going to go off again here.
And trying to flick that one on. Another chance here, but that one will go back to the visiting Alligators. That was another good chance there from the Eagles.
Jaya Karen able to make the save there, stay in front of the ball. Not allowed the shot to be accurate.
And the Eagles right now are just pinching this Gator squad down in their own defensive end. Haven't allowed the ball really past the football's 30 here in this last couple minutes.
The ball was flicked a little bit too high up in the air, so they'll reset.
And now going back in possession of the Gators. That's Capozzoli who took that one away briefly, as the Eagles are going to try to maintain possession here. And it'll be a penalty corner upcoming for the Eagles. These are usually some good shooting chances for teams.
And the first penalty corner opportunity for either team here. We'll see how the Eagles intend to approach this shot. It'll start on the left side of the net.
This ball will come out to one of the attackers up top. And then have a chance to either shoot that one or make another pass. Well, the Alligators obviously have the 4 defenders along with the goalkeeper here. Just kind of try to be shields from an attack here. This one up top and shot low, but bounced wide. That one might have taken a misdirection off one of the Eagles players.
The Eagles here able to get some shots off, and that one was some speed, but the defense able to track it down and deflect it before it got too close to the net. Good job from the Gators.
And this one's going to get taken away again in the middle of the field here. So we have not really seen the Gators be able to string too many passes together, taking it into the middle here. And a fight for it down in front of the goal, kind of bouncing around on the back post. Kick save there. Still alive, though, and it will go in possession now of the Gators. But can they move it up the field here, Max?
They have had trouble doing that so far, and they will again here, but they'll maintain possession.
And they'll now move up the field as the Eagles just managing to maintain this constant pressure up on the offensive end here.
Just been playing very close quarters defense. Not really an open lane for that ball to travel, and you'll see they are able to force a turnover there. Eagles really have kept the ball on their side of the field the entire time outside of that opening minute and a half or so. And another turnover here by the Gators. But now the Gators are showing some pressure.
And this one sent back into the middle. Chance for a pass up to the top, but chooses to take it herself on the short angle. That one's going to get knocked wide, so we'll have another penalty corner upcoming for the Eagles. I believe the shot from the previous one was on target, but just taking a deflection off one of the players.
It'll be Tillotson taking the shot here, or putting the ball in play. And I wonder what they'll do for the penalty corner this time. They tried passing it around last time. Maybe this time they'll just force a quick shot, try and catch the Gators off guard.
This one is going to be sent up to the top of the key here. Shot, I think, mishit a little bit on that one.
And it's difficult to really get good contact with the ball there. The stick, of course, you can only hit it with the flat side. It's a little bit awkward.
Like you're trying to get kind of a clean hit on it. That one a little bit too far behind it. Eagles continuing to just keep up this pressure. It's really been probably about the last 5 minutes. That first opening minute was kind of a scrum for it down around midfield. And ever since then, the Eagles have just been having this constant pressure.
A strong attack here from the Eagles, but Avery, the Gators are playing this interior defense inside the shooting box very well. A lot of pressure when they get in close, not really allowing any chance for an on-target shot.
Man, some nice bit of stick work here. This one fit back into the middle. As now here's a chance for the Alligators on the attacking end.
And the first time, I'm just going to speak too soon and say they got it over the 50. They did not. Eagles going back the other way, but there's a foul here. That one on number 8, Maddie Perkins. And the Gators will get another opportunity here.
Now bringing it up towards the middle. So the Gators will have possession here on this near sideline, trying to fit it past this Eagles attacking group. But it's not really allowing much of anything.
Good job defensively by the Gators there. Forced a quick pass that was just a little bit too far out for the Eagles, and it rolls out of bounds, and they'll get another possession. But it is now going back the Eagles' way. A lot of turnovers here early on, Avery.
Yeah, and that's something that you see, I think, a lot early on in seasons in a lot of sports. Just kind of that connectedness isn't quite there yet, as you'll see later on in the season.
Again, first game for both these teams of the season. Probably a little bit of nerves have to play into that. But like you said, as you get further into the season, you start to build that chemistry with your team, and it flows better.
There'll be another penalty corner coming up here. Eagles 0 for 2 on these so far today. Trying to get on the scoreboard here. Has had the lion's share of the offensive possession so far. This will be Tillison to insert again. This one going up top to Capozzoli. She's going to try to get a shot off. Try to flick it on here. Kicked out by the goalkeeper. Still alive, though, for the Eagles. This one shot towards the front post. I think that one might have hit off the foot of one of the Eagles players.
And the ball did roll into the net, but I believe it was off the foot of one of the Eagles players, and it'll go back to the Gators here. As they try and make an offensive push, Avery, they have not been able to get that going so far. Just heavy pressure from the Eagles in this game. They need to figure out how they can string some passes together. Maybe, I don't know, just very tough pressure from the Eagles. And the defense might be getting tired.
And sometimes offense is the best defense out there, Max. And right now, the Eagles' defense hasn't had to do a whole lot this whole contest. Really, this whole back line's just been kind of shifting around out there. Just trying to stay loose a little bit. As I think you mentioned, Alligators not managing to get it past the 50 since probably the first minute of the contest. The Eagles have been down in kind of the inside the 30 of this Gator squad for the last chunk of time here.
And the Eagles are moving very quickly on offense, Avery, and still have not been able to put in put a point on the board yet. Maybe they should think about slowing it down and setting up their offense. But again, the Gators with heavy pressure once they get inside that shooting circle.
You can see all the Gators players really down around that shooting arc. Not really allowing much of anything up through the middle. Eagles having to try to like force it in there, but there's too many players, I think, to really get a clean shot off.
Again, field hockey often compared to lacrosse in a lot of ways, but all of the players get to come back and play defense here in field hockey. So a lot more bodies, it's much harder to produce on offense.
Well, it makes it a lot easier to kind of pack the box a little bit. I think passing in field hockey is so difficult that it makes it tricky to kind of fit those individual small passes in through a lot of players.
Eagles have done a really good job getting these penalty kicks or corners so far. This is their fourth one, I believe, already. We're still in the first half.
This one sent to the middle. It's going to stop it there at the top. Strong shot saved by the keeper again, though. So far, Jaya Karen has done a good job in net.
Last year, Karen started 14 of 16 games, played almost 1,000 minutes in the goal, and had 129 saves last year.
Nearly an 80% save percentage for her last year. I think it's always a good feeling for teams when you can bring back that starting goalkeeper from the year prior. I really find that the goalkeeper in a lot of sports can be the backbone of the team.
Read exactly what I was going to say, Avery. It really sets the tone for the defense. You need a goalkeeper that's going to communicate, that believes in themselves, but also the team. And Jaya Karen has certainly been that for this Gators squad.
Well, a good goalkeeper, too, can help kind of blemish out some inconsistencies on the defensive end as well. I think with a good goalkeeper, they'll back up their defense, and plays that would have gone in could be potentially saved as well. So another penalty corner coming up here for the Eagles. Have not been successful on any of them so far. Have gotten a few good shots off. This one hit hard and low, but just knocked away again. So far, this penalty corner defense for the Alligators has been dominant out there.
And you're right, Avery. They've done a really good job. The Eagles with some pretty fast shots, ones that you think eventually one is going to end up in the back of the net, but the Gators have done just such a good job so far of attacking the penalty corner. And it looks like we'll have another one here.
Feel bad for these players here for the Alligators who aren't part of that penalty corner squad, who have just had to keep running back up to the 50 and then sprinting back down. Little trick play here for the Eagles, and nothing there as that one was, I think, hit a little too much on the top of the ball, kind of bounced in towards goal.
And finally, the Alligators will get a possession here. And Avery, I'd say they just need to slow it down and kind of see the field, but the Eagles are putting so much pressure on. Like 3 Eagles players right there were lined up to defend that. Now, the heavy pressure comes up again, and they're back in the offensive zone.
And this is the best chance of the game, and there we go as the Eagles get on the board. I believe that was Tessa Capozzoli with the first goal of the season for the Eagles.
And a great play there by Capozzoli, just set up right in front of the net. Not much Jaya Karen could have done to stop that one. And like you said, definitely the best chance they've had so far. This time they're able to capitalize. And that means possession will go over, if I'm correct, to the Alligators, who will now have it at the 50-yard line. Let's see if they're able to reset here and get something going on offense.
See this Eagles team, though, just constant pressure on the defensive end. You have really the whole squad right around the player with the ball.
That's the thing. It's been 3 Eagles players in front of the offense. Player with the ball multiple times. I said set up right in front of the net. Wow, Karen with a great save.
You kind of misread that one a little bit off of the first shot, kicked it right back out to the Husson attacker, but managing to make the second play. That was Maddie Perkins with a shot on that one. And 11 goals a season ago.
That one rolls out of bounds. It'll be turned over to the Eagles. This time backed up in a corner. See if they're able to make something of it.
And the Eagles still trying to move this one around. Cutting up through the middle. Another chance here. Back post. Score as the Eagles get the second on the board. And I think the floodgates have opened a little bit.
And Faith Tillison, the one able to net that one. And that was just a great pass across the field. Went untouched all the way to the other side of the goal. And Tillison was able to put it in the back of the net. 2-0 Eagles early on.
They give that assist to Capizzoli now, who's up to a goal and assist in the contest already. Tillison's first goal of the year. Scored 4 a season ago. So the couple sophomores doing it for the Eagles on the offensive end. And that's always a good sign for teams when you have those young players who are kind of leading the team in statistics. Kind of lets you rest easy. Obviously, it's nice to have a team full of seniors and juniors, but kind of looming at the end of the season is that idea that most of those players will be moving on.
And not only that, Avery, but you bring in these players to have players to play. Exactly. So bringing in these freshmen and sophomores and seeing the production that they've had so far in their first and second years, it's been good, and it looks like it's going to be another penalty corner, Avery. Just a array of those today. They've had plenty of practice so far.
It's an interesting strategy, too, for the Eagles. You kind of really only have so many plays at this, I would imagine. They're going to send this one up to the top. Second pass over. Chance on the right side, and flicked on. That one into the back of the net.
And I think that Karen just wasn't able to see that one roll through. It wasn't exactly a super fast shot, but nonetheless, it rolls through. Eagles up 3-0 early. They're finally able to start capitalizing on some of these shots that they've had.
That was Maddie Arsenal who gets the goal out there. The Eagles, like you said, just kind of getting in the face of Karen, not allowing her to really have clear vision towards the ball. And after that, it's just about the Eagles getting out of the way. And here you go, Max, taking it past the 50 for a moment there. And taken right back by the Eagles, who, like we mentioned, were kind of attacking for a while and then now finally getting on the board.
And I think they've really found their groove. That chemistry came back very quick. They've had a long week of practice. Have probably used, like you said, all of their penalty corner plays already with the amount that they've had so far. But so far, or a very successful first quarter for the Eagles.
The Eagles getting on the board here in this last 2 minutes of this first quarter. It's going to be a tough conversation, I think, in between quarters here for the Russell Sage Alligators. You kind of got to figure out something to do, Max. Right now, just nothing's working for them.
And no reason to stress yet. It's only the second quarter going into, and you have time to reset. Just regroup, get your team together, talk about what's going right, what's going wrong, and go from there. Make a plan.
And we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network and be right back. Avery Henningsen alongside Max Stern. And welcome back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Top of the second quarter here starting off. As it'll be Eagles possession yet again. And Max, in that first quarter, it was really Eagles had the dominant possession, but weren't really getting on the board at all for probably about 12 minutes of that quarter. And then the final three put up 3 goals in quick succession. And I think something you mentioned too, that this Alligators defense has just been out there playing defense for a while now. They've really had no possession on the offensive end. And I think the Eagles just kind of wore them down.
Yeah, they're certainly getting tired out there. And back to your point, I think the Eagles just needed a little bit to get their plays going, really understand what their game plan was, feel out the defense a bit. They did have some opportunities early on. The defense was able to pick up on it. And once the Eagles realized what the Gators were doing on defense, they were able to start capitalizing, and that's why we have a score of 3-0.
This one hit in towards goal, kicked out by the keeper, though. And that one just given right back to the Eagles. I think that's something you mentioned, too, is just kind of slowing down your transition a little bit. This Gators team, obviously, you've been on your back heels for a while now. I think the tendency when you get possession is to just try to get it out of here. I'm tired of playing defense, but it's when you need to settle down for a moment and try to make those connective passes.
And there's no reason for the Gators to panic yet. Still 3 more quarters to play here. Eagles will get another penalty corner. And I feel like that's been part of the reason that the Gators have been stuck on the defensive end for so long, is they've allowed so many penalty corners that possession just stays on one side of the field.
This one sent to the middle. It's going to get stopped here. Pass through the legs. This one shot low. Saved by the keeper. Second chance, but knocked away. Good little kind of dummy ball there on the pass. Kind of fake the pass to the player to your left. And then she let it play through to the backside. And it's going to be another penalty corner coming up, Max. Something we've said quite a bit so far in this one.
They're getting their practice in. If they're not mastering the penalty corner the rest of the season.
This one inserted to the left side. Shot low. That was a rip. Appizzoli was there, but can't get anything on it.
Karen did a good job tracking that one down. Has had a few of those with just fast shots that was able to see all the way through. But we've also seen sometimes when the box gets a little bit cluttered, it's hard to track down the ball.
Yeah, feel for Karen so far in this one has really just been being hit with shots constantly here. She's done quite a good job of saving most of them, obviously letting in the 3 goals, but
with the amount of shots she's faced so far, Avery, that's pretty impressive that it's only been 3. A lot of pressure from this Eagles team so far on that offensive side. And then on the other side, it's the total opposite, right? You've got Maria Levesque, who has not seen a single shot, let alone really the ball come across the 50-yard line.
And this one getting fought around on the far side. Yeah, Karen's faced 16 shots in this one, has saved 13 of them. I think that's some statistics you don't want to hear. Might be some statistics you hear at the end of a game, but not to just start off the second quarter.
And Avery, this time the Gators were able to, they decided to push out a little bit further on offense, or on defense rather. We're able to come up with a turnover there, and now they're slowing it down, moving it around, passing to their other players. We'll see if that proves good for them. It's going to be another turnover going the Eagles' direction once again.
Yeah, the Eagles have some really fast attackers and midfielders out there. You saw usually the ball will move faster than a player can run, but the Eagles just kind of ranging right over quickly. And it's going to be
can you guess what's coming up?
Going to be another penalty corner upcoming for the Eagles. You got to feel for these midfielders. They're having to keep jogging out to the 50 on these plays and then running back in to play defense.
Yeah, I don't think they signed up for that much cardio today.
And two squads getting ready for this one. Really, with the amount the Eagles have had, Alligators have done a good job at kind of stopping most of them. You can see, too, the Eagles on those plays taking a little bit more time now, Max, just knowing that those players from the 50 aren't really coming in with the same speed as you probably saw them come in on the first couple penalty corners.
Yep, looking to their other options, really taking the time to see where those 4 defenders from inside the goal line up at. And they're looking to make the best play that they can.
This one hit into the middle. And still fighting for it. And that will be a penalty corner upcoming. You got to feel for Levesque right now, getting her first start of the season. Has just kind of been standing around. I'd almost feel like if I was in goal, I'd almost rather have a few shots on me. Obviously, you don't want to allow goals, but also.
Well, Avery, you come into these games and warm up and get ready to play. You've got sort of this adrenaline rush, and then to not even face a single shot or really an offensive or defensive possession at all so far in this game, it's probably a little bit tiring.
And this one sent middle. And miss hit on that one. Second chance opportunity, though, but not today, as that one gets knocked away. And now this one sent into the middle. Another chance for it. That one knocked just at the front edge. Sent in. Goalkeeper gets another foot on it. The Eagles, a couple shots in a row here.
That one rolls out of bounds. It'll be going the other way. Oh, it will stay with the Eagles, actually. Just took it out a little bit.
And that one will go back with the Eagles here up by the 25-yard line. Sent into the middle. Contact down there. Still trying to fight for it. Eagles just trying to bulldoze their way up through the middle of this defense.
Eagles like doing these sort of centering passes like you'd see in soccer or ice hockey, and it's worked out for them a few times. They're just trying to really master it at this point. But again, Jaya Karen has done such a good job in the net despite the score, has faced a lot of shots and has only let 3 of them in.
Chance here for the Gators to try to push it up past midfield. And it gets taken away immediately by the Eagles.
Just very strong defense here from the Eagles. It's not often where you see a game where the ball doesn't end up on the other side of the field.
Substitutions enter the game for the Eagles. Number 14, Kyla Havey, and number 15, Ruby Kitchen.
And that one saved again. Second chance, and will roll its way into the back of the net as the Eagles get on the board there.
That one's number 10, Maddie Rensalt, able to creep the ball in past the goalie. Karen did a good job making that initial save, and I don't think was expecting it to be immediately rebounded and shot back into the net.
That was actually freshman Madison Willie who got the goal there. First of her collegiate career. Could come on as a substitution. Eagles bringing in a few new players now, trying to get some fresh legs out there. A game like this where they've just been so dominant, it's a good chance. This one fit all the way through, 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and that one home for the Eagles. I think that might have been Willie again.
And that one starts back at the 30-yard line. Just a swing of the stick was able to send a perfect pass up through the middle. There were already two. That one was actually Kitchen with the goal. And again, they were just set up in front of the defense. I don't even think the defense of the Gators knew they were behind in front of the net. And now you're seeing the Eagles start to take off here with a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, that one there was just kind of pure fatigue for this Gators squad. The through ball back into the top side. There was a couple different Eagles players. I think it was a 2v1 with the goalkeeper, but it was Ruby Kitchen who did it herself. Junior for the squad, had no goals a season ago, so that's the first of her career here for the Eagles. They'll make it a 5-0 lead now. So the Gators bringing it up past midfield, but getting taken away immediately.
I think the Gators need to start showing some more pressure further out into the field. They kind of all fall into that shooting circle and then show pressure on defense. But so far that has not worked out for them. Maybe being a little bit more aggressive in the open field could help them get a possession.
And this one will go possession here to the Gators.
And this one will go back the Gators' way. Just look at how the defense lines up, Avery. There's four of them, four Eagles players right in front of the ball carrier. Forced to lob it up like that.
Successful lob for now, trying to get past the next line of defense, though. And now, first chance on the offensive end, potentially. Well, first sign at this Eagles defense. And 1-for-1, Max, as they take that one away immediately.
This time able to kind of hold on to it, stop the advance from the Eagles. But again, the Eagles just so strong on defense, able to create another turnover.
It's really been this midfield, I think, Max, that has been putting the Eagles up in this contest.
I think you're right, Avery. Just the defensive pressure has been the same on all parts of the field, whether it's in the midfield or down when the Gators are trying to push out of the zone, just trying to clear the ball. The pressure's the same, and here's an opportunity. That one will go out of bounds.
And here comes Avery Baker substituting in and getting a first touch on the ball immediately. She's going to cut around her defender. Baker, a star on the Husson women's lacrosse team. As the Eagles trying to get some more goals up on the board here in this final 4 minutes of the first half.
Ooh.
And that one, tough hit off of the defender. As I think they're going to stop the clock on this one. And I think she's going to get checked out by the trainer, so we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network and be back in just a moment. And back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network, that was Cheyenne Zobel, who got helped off by the trainers. So substitution coming in here for the Gators. The Eagles trying to get some more shots up on the board here in this final 3 minutes.
And one takeaway for the Gators here, Avery, is while they haven't really had much possession on the offensive zone, their defense is holding up quite a bit. They have let in 5 goals, but with the amount of shots taken, that's actually pretty impressive. But these last few minutes before the injury timeout there, they were starting to at least hold on to the ball a little bit longer and see passes out and make plays. They just need to get together, group, or regroup and find out how they can keep possession and move it down the field.
Green card issued to Husson's number 15, Ruby Kitchen.
So Ruby Kitchen will receive a green card off of that play.
Now the Gators will get an opportunity here. One less defender out there.
This one's going to be sent into the middle here. As now Baker with the possession. So final minute here of this first half. The Eagles have just been dominant in this one.
Everything's just been clicking for the Eagles offensively, defensively, in transition. A near perfect game for the Eagles so far.
So far, the Eagles have outshot the Gators 26-0, Max, with 23 of those being on target. So 18 saves for Karen here in the first half. The Eagles have had 10 penalty corners so far.
And that'll be a foul on Hope Bouchard.
So
and
final.
Here you go, Avery. A possession inside the 50-yard line for the Gators.
Inside of the final 20 seconds of the first half. It took them about 29 and a half minutes. And chance now, but on the backside here, the Eagles are just going to be able to run out this clock. Maybe something to talk about in the locker room between halves here, Max, as the Eagles dominant in the first half. We'll be back with second half action here in about 15 minutes here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. And welcome back here to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. I'm Avery Henningsen alongside Max Sturmier as we have second half action for y'all. As the Eagles are up 5-0 here on the Russell Sage Gators. And if any indication of that first half will play out in the second half, I think we're going to be looking to our right a lot more than we did in the first half, Max.
Well, Avery, we saw in that last half, you pointed it out before we went into the break, 26 shots from the Eagles in that first half, 0 for the Gators. And honestly, the fact that the score is only 5-0 and not a larger deficit for the Gators says something about their defense as the Eagles put one in right there, 6-0.
As that one will make it 6-0. If you weren't with us in the first half, we're struggling a little bit to read the numbers perfectly.
Avery, for the second half, the Gators need to focus on seeing the field a little bit more when they have the ball. So when they're trying to clear it out of the zone, see the field ahead of time, make the right passes, and they need to create these opportunities. See them ahead, not just they feel like with all the pressure that the Eagles are bringing on defense, especially down in their own offensive zone, they have really forced a lot of quick decisions from the Gators, and that's why they haven't had a lot of time of possession.
And that was Maddie Arsenal who got that goal for the Eagles. Another assist here for Tessa Capozzoli, having a great first game of the season here for the Eagles.
See, the Gators are actually moving it up the field here inside the 20, and they're in the shooting box for the first time in this game. Let's see if they're able to make the most of this opportunity.
The Eagles just subbed off Maria Levesque, and seconds after that, you have them pushing up the field. Now will be the Eagles back on the offensive end. This one sent middle. I think Capozzoli just trying to flick that one past her onto another player. This one still around in front of the goal, and it's going to dribble its way in, but just before that, I believe a foul being called on the Eagles.
The Eagles offensively kind of switching it up a little bit, playing more outside of the box and looking to set up a pass to a player running inside the circle there, up near the goal. It's kind of been what I've been able to gather from these first few minutes, as that one is going to go in.
That was Capozzoli again, getting her second of the contest to go with a pair of assists as well. As she flicks that one on, and I think also, I know you were just talking about formation with the Eagles. Seems like the Gators have pushed up the field a little bit. In that first half, we saw them just kind of pack all 10 players in and around the goal, and then on that one, you really only had 3 or 4 defenders back there. But it's giving more shooting leads for the Eagles, and now pushing it to a 7-goal lead in this one.
Eagles have done a really good job just breaking down the Gators' defense. Whenever they make changes, they adjust very quickly. It's just been total domination for the Eagles so far. But I think that was the Gators' plan coming into the second half, was to spread the defense out more, play a little bit further out, and try and minimize these opportunities for the Eagles. Might just take a few minutes to get into the swing of that. A little bit more pressure here on the outside.
This one knocked into the middle. Could be a chance here for the Eagles right around the goal. Knocked away on the goal line for now, and I believe that one's going to be knocked clear. It'll be Eagles possession up around the 25. A good job defensively. I believe that was a defender on the back line, just kind of putting their stick flat on the ground to stop that one.
And goalkeepers love those players that are always sticking right around and making the defensive play when maybe they're not able to. Good job from the Gators this time, and they'll get another opportunity inside the shooting circle.
Had a few more chances here I think they've moved into a little bit more of an offensive attacking group out there.
And the Gators are going to get their first penalty corner.
So this could be a chance for them to get their first shot of the game out there, or one of their first shots of the game.
It'll be Madison Willie inbounding the ball with Bouchard in front of her. Again, all these Eagles players will line up inside the goal. Let's see how they plan on attacking this Eagles defense.
Eagles trying to do their best to not allow a shot. This one in towards there. Chance, diving save on that one, and it's knocked away.
And Avery, that ball was on the goal line. Like, I'm surprised that they didn't call that a goal. It was very close. However, the Eagles able to make the stop there, maintain or regain possession, and they're heading back down the other way.
Freshman goalkeeper Maddie Stevens with the save on that one. Out of Kennebunk, Maine. It's her first save of her career. This one bouncing around and knocked in. The Eagles getting on the board again here. That was, I believe, Arsenal again. Oh, listen to the public address announcer here. That completes the hat trick, Max. As Bouchard credited with the assist there.
And like you said, a hat trick there. 6 goals last season for Maddie Rizal. It has half of that in the first game.
Yeah, already met her quota from last year, or half of her quota from last year. So on good track this season to beat what she did a season ago. The Eagles stretching it to 7 now. As about 9:40 left here in this third quarter.
It'll be a turnover here. Back, another shooting opportunity, and wow, what a shot there.
That was Tillison's second of the game.
It was an impressive shot, kind of just swung the stick, backhanded. Was able to line it perfectly between the edge of the goal there and their goalkeeper, Karen. A 9-goal lead now for the Eagles. And the Eagles, or the Gators rather, will have a goalie switch here.
Yeah, and I think Karen had a good game. I think this second half got a little ugly pretty quickly as they moved to a more offensive formation out there, dropped a few less defenders back. And this Eagles team that already had so much domination on the offensive end, you pull a few defenders out of there, it just makes it a little too easy for them out there. But at the same time, I think the Gators kind of, not necessarily thrown in the towel here, but more just wanting to work on their offense a little bit. There's no point of just kind of sitting back and letting the other team take shots over and over and over and over again against you. You don't learn a whole lot from that.
And I think the Gators are also just trying to see what they have with their substitutions. Olivia Brand, the incoming goalie for the Gators, is a freshman, and I think that head coach Carissa Warren just kind of wants to see what she has in Brand, and some of the other players that are being subbed in as well.
Well, I think with moving to this more offensive formation too, you sacrifice goals on your defensive end, but it's now also allowing them. They've had a few chances now on the offensive end, which in that first half, I think they had the ball over the 50 for not all that long. This one sent into the middle here. And it's going to be a second penalty corner here coming up for the Gators, so they can just reset. The Eagles, a little bit different strategy than the Gators, starting with all 4 defenders inside of the goal. Going to have 2 stay on the back line and 2 move up.
And I believe that one of the Gators players moved a little too early right there, and thus it's heading the other direction.
So, costly error there for the Gators, as it will give possession right back to the Eagles. They're going to try to move this one up the field. It's Baker on the possession here. Baker has a lot of speed here on this near side, trying to take it up and chop it, but mishits that one and loses their footing down here on the near side. That one knocked up in the air. Chance now for the Eagles. Shooting opportunity, kick save here. It's going to be a foul there on the Eagles. So now trying to move it up the field, but taken right back. Bouchard trying to fit something up through the middle.
Oh, it just rolls out of bounds, and I think despite the score, we are seeing there's positives for the Gators here too. One, we talked about getting those new players in and seeing what they have, but also there's testing out a few different strategies. We've seen that they've been playing a little bit more outside of the box on defense, and it has resulted in more possessions. There have been goals scored as a result as well, but we saw the Gators' first possession inside of the shooting box earlier on in this quarter, and 2 penalty corners as well.
And a Baker with this one down around home plate of the baseball field. The Eagles will have possession here down in the corner. And that one off the stick of the Gators, so we'll stay with the Eagles down here, but they're going to have to bring it back out to the 25 now. And the Eagles still trying to get through this defense. And now knocked middle, but nothing there. Gators dropping a few players back on defense now, similar to what we saw them do in the first half.
A lot of pressure outside of the shooting circle here, kind of forcing the Eagles to make quicker decisions.
And now taken away in the middle here. I think that's Johnson playing defense. And that one knocked out of play immediately. Carly Ramsdale trying to send that one in. Like that one might have taken a direct hit off of one of the defenders' feet down there. This Russell Sage team on a whole deep bench out there.
And there will be an injury timeout.
So we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network as well and come back in just a moment. And back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network as we come out of that injury timeout. That was McKenna Eustis who will exit the field of play. It will be Eagles possession here on this near sideline. Some nice stick work here, but losing it. It's Ramsdale trying to cut through a few defenders. Eagles look like they have a whole host of substitutions set to come in here momentarily. Capozzoli heading back out there.
We talked about the Gators kind of stretching their bench, seeing what they have. I think the Eagles are also trying to do that. We talked about how their starting lineup was mostly built up of returning players from sophomores, juniors, seniors. And they might be trying to get some of the freshmen in to see what they got with their team.
Yeah, the Eagles have a full second team of bench players, another 12 that is. I think we've seen pretty much all of them here today. So it'll be a penalty corner upcoming here for the Eagles. It'll be Baker who's going to insert from the corner here. This one a loop to the middle. That's Ramsdale on it. She's going to pass this one back. Fake shot there, and shot from Capozzoli, still alive in the middle. Goalkeeper trying to get on top of it and just push it out way out of her net.
A loose ball, but Olivia Brand playing far outside of the net. Still able to track it down. Make 2 saves there.
That was some good aggressive goalkeeping out there. That's one of those ones that if you sit back on your line and let the Eagles just have possession there, could lead to a goal if you're just kind of hammering shots from within 10 yards. But by kind of pushing up like that, she was able to kind of take away that shooting chance.
I think that's something that the Gators need a little bit more of, is that aggressiveness on defense. So freshman Olivia Brand making a play there.
Just outrun for it as the Eagles get there first. Now cutting up towards the left side. That one chopped a little too high, though. Will be possession here to the Gators. Nice little move there in the middle there to cut through a couple different players. And 2 different subs coming on for the Eagles, both on the offensive end. It'll be Arsenal and Madison Wiley re-entering the game. Arsenal with the hat trick already. A couple different players for the Eagles with 2 as well. Capozzoli and Tillison.
Capozzoli almost just had another assist right there. The shot goes a little bit wide of the net, though. And Avery, the Eagles in this quarter have kind of slowed down their offense a little bit, really running more plays, seeing their opportunities.
Well, I think that, too, they're also bringing in a lot of this bench as well. You're having different groups out there. Can make it a little bit trickier in terms of kind of connectiveness. And also, like you mentioned, just running those plays, there's no reason to win a game 15-0. You're just kind of running right at the goalkeeper over and over and over again. I think the Eagles would rather kind of run some of their plays, figure out what they want to do better out there.
That's exactly right. And both these teams have a long season ahead of them. Got quite a few games on the schedule, plus playoffs, the tournament, wherever these teams end up. There's no amount of practice that is not useful, and in a game situation, especially for some of these bench players who aren't on the starting lineup, it's extremely helpful and beneficial for them. That one's going to be batted way up the field and out of bounds, coming back the Eagles' way.
Under a minute here left in this third quarter. Eagles maybe one final chance, but could also be a chance here for the Gators inside of 40 seconds.
You'll really see one of the first true clear opportunities or chances for the Eagles here. I think the Gators are kind of just allowing them to.
Baker with players on our left and right. This one sent towards Capozzoli, trying to just hit it back towards the middle, but nothing there.
And Avery,
he had a great chance at that one.
You mentioned earlier the aggressiveness that Olivia Brand, the goalkeeper, had, and there it is again, stepping out of the goal to make a play, not allow a shot to be made.
So that will conclude the third quarter of action. I think a little bit better quarter there for the Gators, as they at least had a few more offensive opportunities. We'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Max Sturm here. It's 9-0 lead here for the Eagles going into the fourth quarter, as they have been dominant in this one. 31-1 shot so far in this one.
And it just comes down to the time of possession. The Eagles have had the ball for pretty much the entire game. They did have it for the entire first half. The Gators have had some opportunities later on in that third quarter, and they're going to start with possession here. Number 2, Leah, or Taylor Haslob.
A good stick there from Bouchard. She's going to take this one herself down to the corner, has players in the middle, trying to fit it back in the middle. And can really see, just looking at some of those players down there for the Eagles, this is a lot of that bench squad out there. I think Coach Holhoff just wanting this Eagles team to kind of get some experience out there. Yeah, I really think most of this Bouchard started the game. Kind of hard to see all the numbers down there, but The Eagles, at least in this attacking group, sporting 4 or 5 players who didn't start this contest.
And it comes down to building chemistry, Avery. Like you said, getting the experience, but you don't want just your starting lineup to have that chemistry. Everyone needs to have it together, because if someone goes down and someone has to step up, then you have a new starting lineup, and it's important that that chemistry remains the same through each and every player on this team.
And Arsenal still out there, had a couple different shot chances on that one. I think she's one of the couple players on this offensive end who started this contest. So now will be the Gators trying to move it up the field, but this Eagles midfield trying to stop that again.
And Avery, there's levels to the Eagles defense. They line up with a bunch of players attacking the ball carrier, and then they have lines of defense afterward that are ready to jump on the ball as soon as it's passed up.
Well, I think they really trust the speed of their team out there. That kind of hyper-aggressive formation, I think, can get beat by a better passing team, but the Eagles, with the amount of speed they have, are able to just kind of shut down those opportunities. This one sent into the middle. It's going to bounce its way up. I think took a touch off a player's foot, so it will be another penalty corner upcoming.
Penalty corner inserted for the Eagles. Alyssa Picarello.
And this now the Avery 13th penalty corner for the Eagles today. Not a stat line you really see all too often.
This one sent into the middle. And this one knocked up in the air. So that will go back to the Eagles' possession. And it's really been kind of the story of this game, or the offensive parts of the Eagles game have been the story of this game. Been a couple chances in this second half for the Gators, but the Eagles, I think, definitely the deeper bench has helped.
Yeah, the Gators are certainly getting tired out there, especially this defense who has spent pretty much the entire game here. And, ooh.
Man, I think the Eagles, they're just, I think the attacker just kind of trying to bulldoze their way in towards goal.
Yep, that was
almost
Avery
worked
Baker.
out really well.
That was Avery Baker trying to set herself up for a shot opportunity right in front of the goal, and I don't even think she saw the goalie coming out to defend it.
Under 12 minutes now left in the contest. That one a hard hit ball and another save. Goalkeeper here for the Gators has been strong so far in this second half.
Both goalies for the Gators have had pretty good games. Of course, it is a 9-0 lead for the Eagles, but they have faced a lot of shots, I believe. The shot differential right now is 39-2 in favor of the Eagles. And 35 of those shots from the Eagles being on target.
And that's tough on goalkeepers. You can only really save so many. And then there was also kind of that little run, I think, at the top of the third quarter. The Eagles put up 4 in quick succession. And it was really just the Gators trying to move up the field a little bit more offensively. Not just play defense for the entirety of the contest, but it costed them some of that defensive presence.
Again, this clearing team for the Gators just unable to get it past that aggressive defensive line for the Eagles.
That one saved again. Baker, another good chance right on the front line.
And it'll be reset up at the 25.
Eagles immediately trying to get it back in towards goal. And they'll have possession again up at the 25. And that one's going to get taken away.
And that'll be a foul there on the Eagles. So some room to operate momentarily for the Gators. Strong pass up the middle. It's going to roll out of bounds.
That one hit a little too hard. Had some ideas behind it. A couple players over there for the Gators. It must have taken a deflection off of the Eagles. This one sent towards the goal, but off of the right side panel there. On the outside, that is.
Eagles will look to clear a little lob right there. Kind of gets it over that first defensive line.
It's a tricky skill to do, but when it's done correctly, it works really well. And this one just taking it herself up the field. He's going to try to chop that one back. That was Perkins on the shot. I think she's going to come off for a substitution now, though. It'll be Ramsdale coming back in. And that one cut off by the Eagles attacking group. Shot there, another kick save. Eagles really have had a lot of opportunities get nipped in the bud by this goalkeeper pairing out here.
Yeah, again, both goalkeepers today for the Gators have done an excellent job considering all of the factors, like time of possession and shots. To only give up 9 goals in the game with those kind of stats, it's very impressive.
Olivia Brand has actually done a really good job in net for this Gator squad. They're coming in as a substitution. If they had scored right there, that would have been definitely a announcer's jinx for a second. She hasn't allowed any goals so far. Has faced 8 shots, made 8 saves. So
impressive from the freshman out of Little Falls, New York.
To be earning herself some more playing time as this season goes on. So this will be another penalty corner upcoming for the Eagles.
Penalty corner for the Eagles, inserting number 5, Alyssa Picarello.
Is this the 15th penalty corner opportunity for the Eagles? Had a lot of practice with it today.
That one chopped a little too high. I think that will be called for kind of a dangerous height out there. So we'll be back to the Gators' possession now.
Avery, honestly, it's impressive when they can get a clean shot off with a chop like that. The ball is not very easy to hit with the stick, and you can only hit it with that flat edge.
Well, they're trying to do sort of a slap shot like you might see in kind of standard ice hockey. But it can be difficult to kind of get the timing right on that and the height. See a lot of players kind of slide it over the ground rather than do that kind of high shot. I would say that high shot, similar to a slap shot in hockey, that you can get a lot more power behind it with that kind of release.
Requires a lot of space around too, so it's usually a very quick shot from the pass. Eagles kind of been one of those teams that are known for having shooters all over the field, people who can score from any position and from far and from close.
So 16th penalty corner upcoming.
This one will be Brianna Smith inbounding the ball. Able to fake out a defender there. The shot's going to go wide. Good job there by that Gators defense, forcing the shot from the outside and not directly in front of the net.
So creeping down to 5 minutes left to play here. Eagles trying to potentially make it double digits here in this last 5 minutes.
And the game could not have gone better for the Eagles today, Avery. A lot of offensive opportunity. The only thing that they might be a little bit disappointed in is they didn't get a lot of defensive opportunity. So that might be a focus in practice this week, getting a little bit, some more reps with that. But again, they do take on St. Joe's tomorrow at this same field. We'll have that coverage for you.
This one's going to be sent to the middle. And the Eagles kind of an interesting schedule. That one bouncing its way through and in. I think that was Baker on the goal.
Avery Baker, the two-sport athlete playing women's lacrosse here at Husson as well. Scores her fifth career goal. Obviously first of the season.
And she'll come off immediately in that substitution group as well. So getting the Eagles up to 10 here. We saw her have a number of opportunities here in the second half. Didn't quite manage to capitalize on all of them, but that one making its way in. The first one there from Brand not making it into the goal. Or first shot taken against Brand that made its way into the goal, that is.
Another Eagles possession, a nice tip up the field. They're going to make a call here, though, and it's going back the Gators' way.
But as we were saying, kind of an interesting schedule this season for the Eagles. They're not going to be back after tomorrow, that is. They won't be back here in Bangor till about 3/4 of the way through September, as they'll take on the University of Southern Maine on the 21st. And another goal here for the Eagles. I was looking down at my paper. Did you catch who that one was, Max?
I believe that is number 4, Hope Bouchard. That's number 8, Maddie Perkins. Again, Avery, so hard to see the numbers with that contrast of the green and the black.
And Perkins was one of the leading goal scorers for the Eagles a season ago, getting her first of the contest, though.
Made the NAC All-Conference team last year and also led the team in assists with 8. Has been a 3-year starter for the Eagles.
It's only missed one start over her career here with the Eagles. Or came off the bench one time, I guess. And this one trying to just clear it. I think that one went off the foot of a Gators player.
So that'll be
another
our
penalty.
17th penalty corner of the game. And I'm trying to see what number is inbounding the ball for the Eagles.
Penalty corner inserting for the Eagles,
Brianna Smith, the freshman out of Pittston, Maine.
Eagles have a number of players from that kind of Gardner, Augusta area on this squad. I guess Central Maine, that one, a shot and score. Eagles getting their 12th. That might have been Arsenal. So it'll be Maddie Perkins with her second. And it's Arsenal on the assist there. So Perkins getting back-to-back goals here in about a minute span. Want to get her name up there on the stat sheet. That'll make it a 12-goal lead now for the Eagles. I think really at this point in the game, just a lot of fatigue setting in here for the Gators.
And it's extremely difficult for the Gators right now. Again, they don't have a very deep bench, and they have 2 injured players on the sideline, so it's even, they're really stretching their bench out right now. They're just trying to get through the rest of this game. About 3 minutes left. You got to give them credit for sticking with it, trying to get those possessions and some opportunities down the line here. It's never easy when you're losing by double digits to keep going and try and pursue through that game.
Well, it can be hard, I think, too, especially early on in the season. You really want to be trying to build momentum earlier on in the year and get some positive energy out there. But when you kind of come to out-of-state game and not perform as well as you would have liked, it can be difficult kind of keeping that mentals together. That one trying to send it up the field. Good pass out to the right wing now. It's creeping down to 2 minutes, but taken away by the Eagles. See if they can get around the outside.
Eagles have done a really good job of realizing when they create a turnover and getting their attackers inside the shooting circle right away. Sets up a breakaway opportunity in some cases.
That one sent back to the middle. Could be a chance for a shot here. There'll be a penalty corner upcoming, though, for the Eagles. And it's difficult. I think that one, it looked like she could have had a shooting chance, but with the ball kind of on her left foot rather than her right foot, it's hard to get, and obviously only hit it with the one side of the stick. You kind of have to loop over the top of the ball, which is a very tricky skill to do, I think.
There's a lot of variables within the sort of mechanics of the game, how you can shoot, how you can score, what you can and can't use. Again, if it touches any part of the body, that is a foul, and you can only use the one side of the stick, like you were saying. It's very difficult.
That one skipped a little too high and will be out of play here. So the Gators will get it here right around the 16-yard line. They're going to send this one up the field. Good outlet pass here to try to move it up the field a little bit. And just miscommunication there in the middle will lead to the turnover.
Just about a minute left in this game, Avery. And again, the Eagles will be back here tomorrow playing St. Joe's.
That one will also tip off around 11.
And then for the Gators, they've got a long ride home. And they will take on Union College on Saturday, September 7th. And then they will play St. Joe's of Connecticut on September 10th. A lot to learn for both of these teams after this game. Eagles see that they have a pretty solid squad out there, both starting and bench players. The Gators will look to gain momentum in their next contest. Will be a long week of practice for them as they work out some of the things that went wrong for them today. And that'll do it.
So an overall dominant performance there from the Eagles. Let me pull up these end-of-game stats real quick from this contest. It'll be 12-0 victory here for the Eagles on their opening matchup of the season. They took 39 shots in the contest, scoring 12 of them, had a lot of those on target, 40 shots on goal. Right, they took 47 shots and had 40 shots on goal. 27 saves combined here today for the Gators goalkeepers. So just overall dominant performance from the Eagles. Outshot them 47-2. I think that's a great tone setter for the Eagles a little bit. You got a lot of your bench players, some good minutes out there. The whole team just has positive energy now flowing into the rest of the season.
And the Eagles, like you said, off to probably the best possible start they could have, a shutout victory. And starting right where they started last year, or where they ended off last year, coming off of a NAC championship win, already showing their muscles within this conference.
And that will probably just about do it for us here today on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. We thank you all for joining us. Me and Max will be back tomorrow at 11 for the Husson versus the University of St. Joseph's College matchup. And we hope you have a good rest of your afternoon.